Um, let's move on to Russell Wilson and the Giants. So obviously Russell Wilson has now signed with the New York Giants. He says he believes he will be the starter in New York. And then the Giants also signed Jameis Winston. Now, something that's really, really interesting to me about both of these signings is that the Giants, and they still have Tommy DeVito, don't want to forget about him, but the Giants in their quarterback room are spending a total of $15.75 million in guarantees this year, I believe, between Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston. To me, I think Russell is 10.5, and I think Jameis is like 5.25 per year in guarantees. To me, that's not starter money for either one of them, or at least guaranteed starter money.
Right.
Could be wrong. Maybe the Giants just got a heck of a deal for Russell Wilson, like the Steelers did last year because of Broncos contract. But I don't know. I don't know that if I was Russell Wilson, I would be confident that I'm going to be the starter, but he seems to be. So what are your thoughts on this situation?
Yeah, so first of all, I think it's a little strange that I made the joke not too long ago. I don't understand why the Giants are hogging quarterbacks here. Not only did they sign Russell Wilson, but they also signed Jameis Winston, who probably could be a starter in some offenses. Granted, he's not the best quarterback to ever play. I'll still never forget the 30 touchdown, 30 interception season. I mean, that is something that's very, very fascinating to me. But Jameis Winston, he still can throw touchdowns. He can still make plays happen. That being said, though, when it comes to Russell Wilson, the thing is the reason that he believes that he's going to be the starter, and I think that he'll be the starter personally, is because of his consistency. And if you look at the Steelers stat line, like in the games that he's played, I consider him relatively consistent. And having a weapon like Malik Neighbors is going to be relatively helpful going forward for Russell Wilson. And not that Jameis Winston isn't consistent, because he is. He also has that inconsistent ability where he might throw 4 touchdowns, but he might throw 3 interceptions, and that one interception might be a pick 6 and cost you the game. That being said, though, I think they have a really good quarterback room, because with the quarterback room, having Russell Wilson, Jameis Winston, and Tommy DeVito, and yes, Tommy DeVito, he's fine. I mean, he's not going to be, I don't think he's going to be some level 1 quarterback starter, but if you fall down to quarterback 3, I mean, he'll get it done. But with Tommy DeVito, at least he knows the playbook when it comes to being QB3. So that's not bad. Then you have Jameis Winston, who is a really solid QB2 if in the grand scheme of everything, because like he got games done. I mean, he did pretty well in Cleveland when he needed to. I mean, he wasn't the greatest, but you've looked at all of these other stat lines over the last couple of years with Winston. He's not the best quarterback ever. He's definitely the wildest quarterback, and he's very funny on Twitter, but he's definitely a solid QB2. And then you have the QB1 who has the Super Bowl experience, the veteran experience. Not that Winston doesn't, I don't want to take that away from him, but like the actual locker room veteran presence, the top quarterback being Russell Wilson. I mean, this guy, no matter the age that he is still consistent. I mean, you look at these games, and I mean, even that game at the end of the season where we lost in the playoffs to Baltimore. I mean, dude still threw 20 of 29, 2 touchdowns. I mean, that's not, everyone's like crap on Russell Wilson throughout the season, but a lot of these things weren't necessarily his fault. I mean, throwing for 20 times in Philadelphia wasn't really his fault. I mean, it was poor defensive calling when they were on offense, and also poor offensive calling when you were on offense as well. Like it didn't really make a whole lot of sense. So, I mean, you have to go back and look and realize, like, I mean, even the Browns game, you lose 24-19 on Thursday night at Cleveland. He throws 21 of 28. I mean, he's not having bad numbers here. I mean, it's, you can't expect them to be perfect. I mean, even like you go back and look at some of these great quarterbacks, they'll throw 23 of 45 and win the game. You know, it's just how it is. But I think for the Giants, I think they'll finally get somebody in consistency with Russ. And I think that, in my opinion, I think Jameis Winston would be like having like a better version of Daniel Jones as your backup, which is something that you could kind of benefit from in New York, especially when Daniel Jones has been kind of all over the place. I mean, last season, it felt like, and I don't know how you feel about this or like what your opinion of it is, but it felt to me like last season, the Giants were in some close games and they were just one player or one type of play away from winning those games. And that happened even in Pittsburgh. And there was a lot of games where I'm like, man, the Giants really just folded. And it felt bad that they did because this team is young. They're talented. They've got some good players. And maybe what they need is just a locker room presence or a quarterback guy like Russ. And on top of that, you have somebody like Winston. So you have two solid locker room guys that are going to add that positivity to it. And this team realistically, I don't know where they're at in the rebuild. I'm not really sure. I'm not too familiar with the Giants game and who's going to be like superstar coming up here in the next couple of months or years or whatnot. But from a perspective, I mean, this team, if they don't do better, I could see them winning 7 games, which considering you go from 2 games to 7, I mean, that's a pretty good push in my opinion. So
yeah, I don't think the Giants are as bad as their record shows.
No,
their defense especially is a lot better than what their record shows. Their offense being led by Daniel Jones, that kind of hindered them. If I'm Malik Neighbors, though, I'm ecstatic about having both Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston in the locker room because Jameis Winston is big on the whole, F it, Malik's down there somewhere type throw. And then Russell Wilson loves the moon ball. He loves to just launch it. So he can't throw the intermediate for crap. But if you get Malik on a go route, I think Malik's going to maybe hit 2,000 yards this year.
Right.
Even off of go routes. But, I mean, yeah, I think you're right. I think they have a lot of talent on the Giants. It's just a matter of getting the right scheme. Even on that defense, I know I said that they're good, but they've still got some work to do in some spots. I think they have a really good pass rush, though. That they should be excited about with Brian Burns. You're going to get Dexter Lawrence back. I believe they lost Azeez Ojulari to free agency, but still their pass rush should be strong again with Dexter Lawrence coming back. So if I'm a Giants fan, I'm optimistic, but that core, I don't know like how I feel about Russell Wilson still. I'll have to see. We'll have to see how it works out.
Yeah, I mean, I personally, when he was in Pittsburgh, like I said, I don't know how Justin Fields would have panned out against the three gauntlet teams. I mean, everyone kind of crapped on Russell Wilson during those games, but there was a lot happening. You play at Baltimore, you play at Philly, and then you play home against Kansas City on a short week. I mean, it was just, you're not setting yourself, you're not getting set up for success here. I mean, and it kind of fell apart from there. I mean, yes, there were some games in between there that definitely weren't good, but I mean, they go in, they beat the Jets, they beat the Giants, they beat at Washington, they beat Baltimore, then you lose at Cleveland, you win in a barn burner against Cincinnati, you beat Cleveland, and then you get gauntleted. Because then at that point, Cincinnati is hot. Not that they weren't before, but they're hot going into December. You have a hot Cincinnati team. You have a Kansas City team that looked very solid. You had a Baltimore team that looked very solid. And you had the Super Bowl champions that literally just ran through everybody all season long, pretty much. I mean, you were set up, and obviously that works on your morale, and it does a whole lot of stuff. So I'm curious to see what Russell Wilson does. I mean, obviously he's going to have to play some of those gauntlet games because they're going to be Washington. You're going to see Philly. You don't know how Dallas is going to be, but you're going to see at least Philly twice and at least Washington twice. Now, granted, the Giants were in last place, so they're going to play a lot of last place teams in the NFC, but I would have to go back and look and see who the last place teams are and see how well they've improved to really get an idea. But like I said, realistically, if you play with the defense that you have, and like I said, me and you both kind of agreed, this defense is very underrated, and you play with a kind of an improved offense. I mean, this team could be good. And like I said, Russ, I don't think Russ is that bad. I feel like everyone's giving him a hard time. I don't think
you used to give him a hard time.
I did, but I mean, I don't think I gave everybody a hard time. I mean, there was back in the late 2010s, people were celebrating Ben Roethlisberger getting hurt, which I think is horrible, but like Steelers fans are just meant to complain. We're just meant to complain. But point being is people are always going to complain in Pittsburgh about somebody. Like I said, I don't think this Russell Wilson was the same Russell Wilson in Denver. I think this Russell Wilson was a lot better than the one in Denver. And I don't think people are accepting of that of that idea. I am accepting of that. He is not the same Denver quarterback. He's a completely different quarterback. Now, is he the same Seattle Russell Wilson? No. Is he playing at the same level as like an Aaron Rodgers? In my opinion, no, I don't. I think in some aspects, he's definitely regressed, because if you look at the stat lines in the last couple of years, yes, Denver didn't really have a lot of weapons for him to work with compared to even Pittsburgh. But I mean, Aaron Rodgers is working with, pretty decent talent, I guess. But it looks on paper, it looks like Aaron Rodgers is still producing a lot more than like Russ has. But I don't know why you guys would be giving Russ such a hard time. I would wait and see, Josh. I'd wait and see. I think you're being a little pessimistic here.
I said I want to wait and see.
Yeah, you better wait.
I said those exact words.
Yeah, you better wait and see. You just better wait and see. Because listen. Be optimistic like the Giants fans should be. You said it yourself. You should be optimistic.
Editor, I'm the editor, and I'm probably not going to do this, but roll back the tape. If you're watching, rewind, go back. I said we'll have to wait and see. Do you think the Giants should draft a quarterback 3rd overall?
Me?
Mm-hmm. Cam Ward's likely gone, so Sanders is likely your best quarterback available.
I would. Sanders, the thing with Sanders that people are considering him as is an athlete. And athlete is an interesting idea because that means that he can play more than one position. You don't get that a lot in the NFL anymore. You get somebody that just plays one position. Sanders can play multiple. So if you don't have him at quarterback, you can move him around and do other stuff with him, which that's a cool idea. I mean, and you can have him on your depth chart at that point. You wouldn't necessarily need DeVito at that point. Well, that's the only problem that I have. I mean, you don't need one, but I wouldn't necessarily be against one because you don't know how well you're going to finish out this year. Because that's another thing you have to look at. Because if the Giants end up making playoffs, if the Giants end up making playoffs this year and go like 10-7 or something like that, and they go to the wild card, they're going to get somewhere in the 20s. And then at that point, they might not be able to draft like a top quarterback. So you have to kind of like think of it long term. And honestly, I think if you're in that position, you should, unless there's like something that's like a big hole that you want to fill, which then at that point I would skip over Sanders and go with somebody else. But I mean, it would just really depend on what perspective the Giants are looking at.
So Sanders, Abdul Carter, Cam Ward, Travis Hunter. Who are you hoping is there if you're the Giants? One of those guys will be there because they picked 3rd.
Wait, you said Cam Ward, Saunders. Who was the other two? You said
Sanders, Cam Ward, Travis Hunter, Abdul Carter.
Oh, man, I mean, you would have to go with. In my opinion, you have to go with Sanders at that point. I mean, the other guys are great though, but like I said, I really like Sanders. I really do. I think
of those, you like him more than Abdul Carter.
Yeah, but I feel like they could probably get if they drafted Abdul Carter. I don't think it would be like. I think they could utilize him too. I feel like he would probably be, fine. But I don't know. There's something that just leans me towards more with Sanders. But okay. I mean, but like I said, I think Carter. Like I said, if they go with Carter, it's not going to be like, why would you skip over Sanders? I mean, it's just, I mean,
Abdul Carter could easily go 1st overall too, so he might not even be there.
Right.
If the Titans choose to run it back one more year with Will Levis, Abdul Carter's probably taken 1st overall.
Right. And that's the thing. And Abdul Carter is going to be, like I said, they could utilize Abdul Carter in with the Giants. I mean, he's a top, he's a top pass rusher. And so like I don't think that, I mean, I think right now I was just like looking this up because I wanted to see where he's projected. People are having him projected at the Jets, which I think is funny. I don't know why this one came up and said the Jets, which I don't know how you would feel about that. I don't know if he'll fall that low.
If he falls to the, like, I know the Jets
7,
pretty high.
Yeah.
If he falls out of the top 5, I'll be shocked.
Yeah, somebody said that he would fall to 6 or 7. So, but we'll see. But I think the Giants, if they're already building a really solid defense, I mean, they would benefit from having him. But like I said, I think that Sanders for them would be a better perspective because you only have Russ and Winston on like a year or 2, right? I don't know how long they signed both for exactly, but you don't have them for forever, right?
Okay. Well, those are Chus' thoughts. He's putting them out. They're ahead of the 2025 draft. And we'll do more draft coverage here. Since it's April, it's draft month. Time to get your hopes up. In my mind, everyone's a Bengal until they're not. Okay.
Yes, sir.